Hey guys, it's Captain Forrest here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over both these teams to see who would win more often than not in a cross-verse situation, the Justice League versus the Phoenix 5. Now, to keep the numbers game fair, I will only be having 5 participants and 5 members of the Justice League take part in this fight. I have chosen the consistent team, so I've chosen to have Superman, Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan, Flash and Aquaman on the team. So before I start this video, leave a like, comment down below and subscribe for further content. Also, shoutouts to the Coffee Shop gang, they make awesome content. Their links will be in the description, and also massive shoutouts to HQ Squad. Shoutouts to the team, they're the GOAT, much appreciated to them. They help me in my videos and all that great stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead, start off the Man of Steel himself, Superman. So I'll be covering the important feats for the Justice League, and I'll be talking about the more important aspects of each individual member of the Justice League, just so the video doesn't take too long. But anyway, so for starters, Superman himself has fought Darkseid. This very same Darkseid wielded the anti-life equation in his possession during the fight, and Superman took attacks from him, and Superman also boxed up this Darkseid, which is very impressive. Superman was strong enough to hold up the heavens for a long period of time. Superman was able to endure and take the combined force of full power Apex Lex, Brainiac, Leviathan, and UV Sinestro's attack. When Lex Luthor hijacked and took control of Superman's body, he notes that every step he took, it was shaking realms inside the God Sphere. In Dark Knight's death metal, while Superman was weakened, he casually one-shots a version of Batman who had Darkseid's powers. But what makes this feat even more impressive is that it was heavily implied that Superman would need to be weakened for the anti-life equation to take over his body in the first place. So these feats are very impressive, easily creation level feats. I will go more into detail at near the end of my analysis, but that's going to wrap up Superman. I've mentioned his abilities in my other videos. There are more impressive feats that he has, but I think this will suffice for now. Pretty much has flight, heat vision, make himself intangible. He has invulnerability, enhanced senses, and other miscellaneous abilities. Now, to clarify some things and to save us some time, everyone, with the exception of Batman, should also scale to each other in the speed department. So that would mean they would have high layers into immeasurable and irrelevant speed, and in a lot of my DC related videos I've gone over the speed scaling many times, so please check those videos out. Now I'm gonna go ahead, move on to the Amazoness herself, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has some pretty cool feats under her belt. During her fight with Phantom Stranger, she was able to take attacks from him and also physically hurt Phantom Stranger, and also use her lasso of truth to overpower him. Wonder Woman was able to react and avoid an attack from God of Strength Superman and damage him. She then tanks an attack from Superman and uses her lasso of truth on him, which she notes he cannot break out of. Wonder Woman has also shown to physically hurt Black Adam too, and we've seen Wonder Woman go at it with the Man of Steel himself. Wonder Woman's lasso is very powerful. It's strong enough to even press the Darkest Knight, and we all know the crazy scaling for the Darkest Knight. Of course, him beating up Perpetua and going after the Hands as well. Wonder Woman has some other things she brings to the table. She has a lasso of truth. She carries her bracelets, which can deflect projectiles and are strong enough to intercept Black Adam's lightning, and her tiara, which she can use as a frisbee to slice through her opponent's neck. Now, let's go ahead and talk about her skill. Wonder Woman was able to best Ares, who knows all martial arts since the beginning of time, and she teaches him how to use the lasso of truth skillfully to prove the skill gap. Batman notes that Wonder Woman is the best melee fighter in the world. This is impressive because Batman himself, he is a decorated martial arts fighter in his own right, master of all forms of martial arts. He knows many forms of martial arts too. Okay, so that's going to round up Wonder Woman. Let's move on to Hal Jordan, see what his green constructs bring to the table. So Hal Jordan had some pretty cool feats of his own. He's able to box up Superman with his constructs. On 2 occasions, Hal Jordan fights Parallax amped Sinestro and does well. In their second encounter, Sinestro is amped by Parallax and the Fear Engine. Hal Jordan can contend with Larfleeze, who was stated to be as a big of a threat as Parallax. Another impressive feat for Hal was when he was able to harm Corona, who was amped by the emotional spectrum and was specifically controlling Ion, who is the concept of will power, and contained him inside the central power battery, and Oli started losing when his ring's power was being depleted. But regardless, Hal survived a blast from Corona, which is very impressive. There are more impressive feats for Hal Jordan, but I think I've covered enough. Now, being the bearer of the Green Lantern ring, this allows Hal Jordan to create constructs and use them for offensive, defensive, or for practical reasons. The user can use their imagination and ideas to conjure up different types of constructs. In Hal's case, he can create fighter jets to ram into his opponents. He can create giant hand constructs, large weapons. He can shoot concussive energy from his ring or create giant area of effects. He can replicate things such as a nuclear bomb, kryptonite, and he can also create shields and barriers. The ring also has some hexes too, such as transmutation and ice manipulation. There are a lot more hexes that Hal Jordan has up his sleeve, but I'll only mention the practical ones near the end. Okay, so that's going to round up Hal Jordan. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Aquaman. So, Aquaman was able to physically hurt the Upside Down Man. Now, to add some more context, the machine that was amping them via the chains was weakened, but the actual base attack potency remained, as it was only the dark chains that was weakened. So basically, it was the amplification that was removed, and that whatever base AP and normal stats that they have and feats that those characters have shown in the Dark Army would remain. Aquaman has demonstrated in post-crisis to damage a Yellow Lantern construct. This is impressive because the Justice League in that fight were not suppressed, they were not holding back, and even Wonder Woman was hurt and ensnared by one of the constructs, and it was demonstrated that Aquaman was able to hurt these constructs, so that would give some pretty decent AP for him as well. So I'll go into that as I move on. We've also seen Aquaman fight and send a suppressed Superman flying. He was able to also take blows from this suppressed Superman, and in New 52 we've seen Aquaman literally launch a suppressed Superman, and he was able to damage and defeat a creature who was strong enough to hurt and bind Wonder Woman. He was also able to one-shot Orm, who was able to embarrass Wonder Woman and Superman, and Aquaman was also able to one-shot Mammoth. So Aquaman, he carries his trident. He's very skilled with his trident. He was also taught some skills and techniques from Batman, and he's demonstrated to use those skills in combat, definitely when he's unarmed or with his trident. Now Aquaman also carries some other things up his sleeve. He has his mystic shield to protect himself from attacks. He's also well known for his telepathic powers. He's able to mind hacks characters, able to mind hacks his foes. It also works more potent on sea creatures too, and he's able to like de-evolve people down as well, which is very impressive. He can give you like headaches and seizures with his mind hacks. He's also demonstrated to communicate with sea creatures, and he's also demonstrated to give them commands, whether to defend him or to become more of an offensive measure, so he can like control the animals and make them attack his foes, or call them for his aid, which is very impressive. And lastly, Aquaman has some type of aquatic awareness. He can connect all of his 6 senses to the waters and reach out to everything in the ocean, which is very impressive. So he has like some type of like aquatic cosmic awareness to some degree, which is very impressive. Okay, so that's going to round up Aquaman. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Flash. He was able to easily use his speed, like his speed alone was able to tear the fabric of the multiverse, which is a very impressive feat. Very impressive. He was able to destroy Hal Jordan's construct, as the rings themselves are extra dimensional, so that make it 4D inherently. And for post-crisis, he should also scale to Reverse Flash. He was able to blitz and damage and hurt suppressed Justice League characters like Wonder Woman and Superman, so that's pretty impressive. So as a speedster with his connection and power of the Speed Force, Barry is able to perform a lot of interesting hacks, such as stealing the kinetic energy from his opponents, rendering them immobile. He is able to vibrate his molecules and phase through objects and cause them to blow up. He can also negate other people's intangibility, and Barry has also phased through Green Lantern constructs. Like other speedsters, he can BFR you into another dimension or back in time, like very far into in like centuries, which is very impressive. And he can literally just leave you so far back into the past so you won't even get back. He can also BFR you inside the Speed Force and leave you there. He can also spam and barrage of punches entwined with his speed, and he can also perform the infinite mass punch himself. Barry can also vibrate and reverse the effects of injuries that occur to his body, such as Supergirl breaking the Flash's nose, and he was able to reverse some transmutation that happened to him when he touched some water. And the Flash is able to throw lightning as a projectile at his foes. And lastly, the Flash also has a causality type 2, so it's very difficult to put him down. Okay, so that's going to round up the Justice League. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Phoenix 5. I actually will talk more in depth in this video about the Phoenix 5 individually. I actually did a video on them already, but if you guys would like to stick around and watch the scaling anyway, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to just skip to the analysis. But regardless, let's get right into it and talk about the Phoenix Force, starting off with Namor. When you become the host of the Phoenix Force, you will gain extraordinary hexes and increased stats. In fact, characters like Phoenix Force Namor, Colossus, Magik, Emma Frost, and Cyclops have all demonstrated to embarrass and take down Thor. This Thor was not holding back, given the nature of the situation, and that the Phoenix Force is a powerful entity which is not to be taken lightly. They all go on to dominate and embarrass the Avengers during the Avengers vs X-Men run, which would mean Thor would have used his full power in the attempt to take on the Phoenix 5, but unfortunately it amounted to nothing. So let's talk about some of the members. I'm going to start off with Namor. An impressive feat that comes to mind for Namor was when he was able to press a prepped Scarlet Witch in a beam struggle. Namor laid the smackdown on the Avengers with a giant massive area of effect. Namor can imbue his attacks with Phoenix Fire and also flex out a Phoenix Fire area of effect. Namor broke Red Hulk's arm and then goes on to demonstrate an insane endurance feat by taking a massive beatdown from the Avengers, which actually just annoyed and enraged Namor even more. A good resistance feat for Namor was when he was able to take a chi punch from Iron Fist. Now of course, I've mentioned before, the Iron Fist is chi, and chi itself affects you on a physical, spiritual and mental level, and Namor was able to eat this. Pretty impressive. We even see Namor in the current Avengers run. During the Avengers saga, he was able to gain back the Phoenix Force powers as he was a participant in the Phoenix Games. He is able to amp his sea creatures with his Phoenix powers and control them and have them aid him in battle. Namor is able to coat the ocean with his flames and also create fissures underwater to cause his opponents to fall and drown in them. Namor should also come with his inherent powers, such as becoming more stronger and faster when he's underwater or hydrated. And lastly, Namor is also able to lace his trident with Phoenix Force Fire. So that's going to round up Namor, and his general abilities and hexes are pretty much all amped by the Phoenix Force's powers, which applies to the other users. Let's move on to Colossus. An interesting hack for the Phoenix Force members, including Phoenix Force Colossus, is that the heat that passively comes off their bodies is so hot that their opponents, even getting close and physically attacking them, was beginning to burn their hands. Now there isn't a lot of crazy hexes that Colossus demonstrates in character with the powers, but he should naturally have the ability to flex Phoenix Force Fire and lace his attacks with these flames, alongside with other inherent mutant powers like his organic steel body, which increases his AP, speed, durability, and also makes him bulletproof and invulnerable to conventional attacks. So I'm gonna go ahead, move on to Magik. Magik has a laundry list of things that I will cover in this video. So Magik can lace her soul sword with Phoenix Force Fire and attack her opponents. There's more to Magik's sword than meets the eye. Magique can manifest the sword out of her own essence at any time. Attacks from the soul sword affect you on a physical, spiritual, and mental level as the sword decorporates the opponents. The soul sword has holy properties and is designed to vanquish evil and demonic entities, and the sword has magical nullifying properties as magic cannot affect the sword, and the sword can destroy anything that is of magical origin. This is all backed up by some portion of the power of the Phoenix Force that was granted to her. Magique's sword also has greater durability negation as it was able to slice through Cap's shield. This is impressive as not even Wolverine's claws can even scratch the shield, and the adamantium claws themselves have durability negation as it's been stated they can slice through almost anything. Magique's soul sword is able to neg intangibility as Kitty Pryde addresses that her intangibility does not work against Magique's sword, which is very impressive. Magique can also lace her soul sword with magic and blast it at her opponents. Magique and her sword is so powerful. Magique stabbed her soul sword in the ground, which tears the very fabric of Limbo asunder. Similar to the Howl Lords in Marvel, Magique is in her element when she's inside her realm, Limbo. She and her magic is stronger inside the realm. Her rage alone was affecting Limbo. For those who aren't aware, Limbo is a conceptual realm that exists beyond the concepts of space and time, and she was able to affect it all. Magique was also able to best Doctor Strange in her own realm. Now, let's talk a little bit more so about Limbo. So Magique has countermeasures for those who try to teleport inside Limbo. Limbo is filled with hellfire and burning souls. Magique can take a piece out of Limbo and add it to the mortal plane. Limbo prevents you from creating portals, and Limbo also blocks teleportation. Limbo is not bound by nature's law and is a place of transcendental evil where anything is possible. Magique can summon demons from Limbo to aid her in combat. Magique can also summon vines in Limbo, which bind you down and drain your life force. It also covers your whole body, which chokes and drowns you. The vines also have a mind of their own. Magique can also leave you inside Limbo for her demons to attack you, and staying inside Limbo for too long also corrupts you and makes you go insane. Gambit was corrupted by the maddening effects of Limbo. Magique has also shown to be quite sadistic, as Magique ties up some of the Avengers and has their minds and souls be feasted upon by demons inside Limbo. Inside Limbo, Magique is ruler. She can do whatever she likes, as the realm is a reflection of herself, and her will becomes reality inside the realm. More onto Magique's magical powers and miscellaneous stuff. Magique herself can enter into her demonic state even on the mortal plane. When Magique is in this form, she is very powerful. This side of Magique she keeps suppressed as she doesn't want to reflect that side of her to people, but it's later shown in the New Mutants that it was the Beyonder himself that showed Magique that her demonic powers were a gift and a responsibility and something not to be ashamed of. Over the years, Magique's magic skills are boosted ever since she trained with Doctor Strange. She also demonstrates some incredible showings and feats with her magic. She can vaporize people to dust with her magic. She can blast concussive magic bolts. She can blind or restrain her opponents with mystic chains. She's also tied up Thor in Phoenix fire chains and dunked him in a volcano. She can also coat her magic in Phoenix fire, such as fire talon constructs, which physically damage Scarlet Witch, which is very impressive. She can also cast a spell to transmutate you into a slug. Magique's rage was warping and twisting and distorting her teammates, which was causing them great pain. Magique can also use hypnosis on people. She can cast a spell to break her body out of paralysis gunk. Magique removes some of Stevie's memories so that she does not remember the dark truths of Limbo and what actually transpires for the mutants, and of her sorcery. Magique has magical and conventional senses and scanning. She can hear every word her friends say despite them speaking discreetly, and she's able to scan for mystic traces to know if somebody is under possession. Magique has a unique ability she likes to use a lot, and that is her portal disc. Magique's portal disc moves through time and space and can teleport her back in time or any point in history and through the cosmos. She can BFR objects and people inside Limbo, such as BFRing Cap's shield. She's used her portals to summon demons to aid her, and she's used her portals tactically by summoning it behind her opponent and have her demons grab her unsuspecting foe to Limbo without them noticing. To the last minute, she's used her portal as a pseudo shield to teleport projectile attacks from her enemies, and also uses her teleportation ring to negate durability by teleporting a portion of Warlock's arm away. Lastly, she can instinctively activate her portal when she's in danger. Now let's move on to some of the other things that Majik has. So Majik can phase through physical, spiritual and mental and magic attacks as she's phased through her own sword strike. She can view past events from different timelines and also view what transpires on Earth while in Limbo, and she can astral project too. Finally, resistances. Majik herself and her armor provides her resistances against many things. An impressive resistance feat for Majik was when Emma Frost was unable to affect Majik's mind. Not even Charles Xavier can read Majik's mind. Charles and Emma are one of the most powerful telepaths in Marvel and are Omega level threats. Majik was even able to resist Karma's mind hacks / fear manipulation. Majik is resistant to possession / corruption. Majik's soul sword protects and shatters the bonds the Shadow had on Majik. If her powers are stripped from her, she can take it back no problem. Empath's empathy manipulation proved useless inside Majik's realm, as her will and power reign supreme inside the realm, rendering his hacks completely ineffective, as the realm not only increases her stats but also her hacks resistances. Even outside the realm, his empathy manipulation doesn't even work on Majik. Majik also has resistance to transmutation. The soul sword purges the transmode virus from Majik's body, which turns you and your DNA into a techno-organic construct, and it can also corrupt you. Majik also has taken magical attacks too. Majik's armor also protects her from transmutation as well, which is impressive. Majik's armor instinctively protects Majik. Majik's armor protects her from magic, spiritual and mental attacks, as Sims attacks Majik with her own soul sword, and her armor instinctively grows spikes to block the attack. After exercising Cloak and Dagger's powers, which both attempted to possess and take control of Majik's mind and soul, she uses her sheer willpower to summon the soul sword to restore her tainted sword and herself to cast away both powers back to Wolfsbane and Sunspot. Now time in Limbo is different compared to Earth, as the rules of time on Earth do not apply the same to Limbo as existing inside Limbo. Years would go by, as years in Limbo would equate to seconds on Earth, and Majik is just fine inside that realm. So that's going to round up Phoenix Force Majik. Let's go over the White Queen herself, Emma Frost. So Phoenix Force Emma Frost demonstrates some impressive feats during her time as a host. Her ruthlessness and her telepathic abilities were greatly increased. Emma Frost notes that she could end it all, as Emma can enter inside everyone's mind and just switch their brains off. She's literally tortured a person and was able to kill them with her mind powers alone. Emma Frost's mind hacks is so potent, she was able to mind hacks all of the mutants to submission. Emma Frost was still able to sense where Transonic was after Transonic was BFR to Wakanda. Emma Frost is not just ruthless when it comes to mind hacks, she also shows this when she is given her Phoenix Force powers. Emma Frost is able to casually set Hawkeye on fire. Emma Frost repels Spider-Woman and Black Widow's attacks and fires a Phoenix Fire Blast at them. Emma can also create a force field which is strong enough to block Hex attacks from Wanda. She also damages Wanda by firing a blast of Phoenix Force fire at her. She can also flex out a giant AoE of Phoenix Fire, and she was able to also take a hit from the Hulk while off guard, and also get up afterwards and press the Hulk with her fire. The other Phoenix Force hosts share the same unique powers and resistances, such as Emma Frost and Cyclops surviving in inhospitable places. A unique feature for Emma Frost's second mutation: upon gaining a portion of the Phoenix Force, her diamond form is more stronger and durable, and if her diamond body is destroyed, she can put herself back together and even use her own shards to attack her opponents. That's going to round up Emma Frost. Now lastly, the leader of the X-Men and the Phoenix 5 himself, Cyclops. Now Cyclops with the Phoenix Force was able to one-shot the Avengers with a casual, massive Phoenix Force fire area of effect with just a gesture. All of the Phoenix Force members can fly and survive in space. Cyclops gained some telepathic powers through the Phoenix Force, allowing him to telepathically communicate with people and read minds. Cyclops displays mental resistances to Professor X's own mind hacks. He attacks back with his own, which killed Charles in the process, which is very impressive. Cyclops is able to use telekinesis, such as grabbing hold of Iron Fist telekinetically and singeing him with Phoenix Force fire. Cyclops' mere presence cooked Wolverine's ass. This version of Cyclops is more dangerous and uncaring. He will resort to using full-powered optic blasts to dispatch of his enemies in character, rather than his more rational, strategic and tactical self with his optic blasts when he normally uses low to mid frequency early on in the fights. Cyclops is also able to tear through dimensions, such as tearing his way into Kung Lu. Cyclops was able to endure an attack from the Scarlet Witch's magic. He later goes on to know Sal and be completely unaffected by her attacks. Okay, so that's going to summarize both of these teams. I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts and talk about some things to see who I think wins more often than not in a crossverse situation. Now, in terms of stats, both combatants have some good scaling. The Justice League easily have some creation level scaling, easily, outerversal, high outerversal feats. You could honestly even argue boundless for some of those feats, but yeah, they should definitely be reaching around those levels of attack potency. The Phoenix 5 also have some outerversal feats. You could possibly, even if you highball them, you could possibly get them to high outer, but personally, I do have to lean a little bit more so with the Justice League in terms of attack potency. I think they edge out a little more with the feats that they performed. I definitely think they scale a little higher into the tier of those levels. So even if we argue both are high outer, I just think that the Justice League, they scale high into that tier. Hell, even Boundless is on the table, especially with those feats that they've all performed. Now, in terms of speed, I do have to lean a little bit more so with the Justice League. They are faster, they have better speed scaling. The Phoenix 5 do lack speed feats in terms of trying to get them to irrelevant speed. At best, I'd say measurable speed would be good for the Phoenix 5. Anything higher, it just wouldn't matter anyway. They're just not fast enough, even if we give them the benefit of the doubt and try to give them higher scaling. So the Justice League should edge out in speed. Now, in terms of win cons, of course Superman, he has all his attributes. Hal Jordan as well with his ring and construct. Wonder Woman, Aquaman with his trident, and of course you have the Flash as well with his speed. I think the issue here in this fight for the Phoenix 5, they're just going to get blitzed. I think speed is a very big issue for the Phoenix 5. They're just too slow. So I think especially with Flash, I think Flash would put in a lot of work against a lot of them. I think the Flash would just use his speed stealing. He would immobilize Colossus. He would immobilize Namor, Emma Frost, Cyclops. Majik is going to have a tough time dealing with them too, especially with the speed edge. Even if we grant them the similar AP aspect, it wouldn't matter. They're just too slow. Superman is just going to fly in. He's just going to one-shot Cyclops with one punch. That's going to take him out. Of course, Aquaman has his trident. I see him decapitating Namor pretty easily, or basically knocking him out, especially with his own feats, and him scaling to the other Justice League members. Wonder Woman can also put in a lot of work in this fight. Her lasso of truth is ridiculous. That is literally creation tier. That's easily boundless. Like, if that lasso of truth hooks onto any of those members, they're done for. Or she could easily just slice them up. They're pretty done for. So I think there is just a lot of win cons that they can work with in this fight. And Hal Jordan as well. Don't get me started with Hal Jordan. His constructs are going to put in work. His creativity, his willpower, his hexes. It's definitely going to be a very big issue for the Phoenix 5. So based off the feats, the scaling that I've given for the Justice League compared to like the Phoenix 5, I would personally have to lean more so with the Justice League. I think they have just better stats, and their hexes and abilities put in a lot of work. Now, even if we argue from this situation from like more of an in-character aspect, let's say they're suppressed, they're not stupid. The Justice League know when they're fighting a threat, and the threat is like pretty big, and Superman is smart enough to gauge the type of opponent he's fighting. So once he sees like the Phoenix 5 starting to like flex and start using their powers to its fullest, they're not going to suppress themselves. They're gonna take off the safety, and they're just gonna get in there, wombo combo, GG. And I think with at least mid difficulty, I think the Justice League would take victory. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But yes, it's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.